We're just at the end of the podcasting course. So in this short section, we're just going to look at summarizing everything and maybe tying all of the various threads together. We loop back to this diagram, which was in the very, very first section, where we looked at the various stages that are involved in creating a podcast, from having an idea and talking that idea out with people, to then going and recording something, editing something, and finally publishing something wherever you may publish it. And then hopefully what you have is a happy listener who enjoys listening to your podcast as they drink their coffee or whatever it is that they do. Kind of broke that down into the 5 P's of podcasting: planning and preparation, production, post-production, and publication. So planning and preparation is where a lot of the work is actually done, particularly when you're starting out. That's coming up with an idea, which you would have to come up with yourself, but then identifying the audience, having good interview technique, things like that. We didn't get into script writing because that's again beyond the scope of this course. But obviously that's something that if it was you were looking to do a drama or something like that, well, you would obviously get into script writing. In terms of the production, that's the recording process. Talked about some microphones, talked about some little tips about recording, getting good levels, balance levels, having plenty of headroom. We talked about post-production, which is editing. So using Audacity and how you could pull together some various sound sources to combine as a whole. Also looked at how to record directly into Audacity, and then you can go and edit it there afterwards. Then we looked at publication, about how you would get a finished piece of audio out there for others to listen to, whether it is to upload as an assignment for a module on a course, or putting it out on something like SoundCloud so that some people can hear it, or publishing it on one of the many podcasting hosting platforms out there so that the whole world can hear it if they so decide. That's a kind of a big thing, publishing it so that people can hear it. I mean, the other thing I suppose you want to do is maybe keep things realistic. Just because there's a podcast out there doesn't mean that, you know, millions and millions of people are going to flock to listen to it. Obviously, there are some hit shows out there, but most shows have a very small listenership. But that's, I suppose, one of the things about podcasting that's really useful, or I find very beneficial, is that niche subjects can be explored in detail. And there's usually an audience of somebody out there who's interested in that topic, provided it's well made. Obviously, if your podcast sounds terrible and has nothing really to say, it's probably not going to be listened to, because there's plenty of others out there that are well made and worth listening to. This course has only scratched the surface of the medium. I hope it provides you with enough to get you going. Now, where you would take it beyond that is really up to yourself. I suppose one thing that I haven't mentioned in this course is just how much fun it is. I really enjoy making podcasts. Anyone I know who I work with who's involved in podcasts really enjoys it. They're usually doing it as a labour of love. They're typically, in an academic context, not getting paid for it. They're doing it on top of all their other work, but they do it because they enjoy it. People I know who are just involved in podcasts, they do it because they love it. They get a kick out of it. They get a kick out of talking to people, out of meeting people. I get a kick out of that. And the thing about podcasting is the barrier to entry is very, very low. So if you have an idea, you can just do it. Learn from your mistakes and get better. Now, when you go beyond that, you're getting into kind of more technical audio things. Or if you're really taking it seriously, you might want to get into some kind of journalism or communications. But we're not going near that. I also haven't really explored video at all. Obviously, video podcasts are a huge thing. A lot of podcasts are video and audio. That's a whole other level of complexity, and it's beyond what we could do in this short course. But I do acknowledge that they exist, and I mean, YouTube is one of the biggest podcasting platforms out there. I love the medium. I love audio. I find myself constantly listening to things for work and for pleasure. I also listen to the radio too, as well. And, maybe you should also. There's an efficiency and a professionalism to radio presenters that podcasters sometimes lack. And you can pick up good habits from listening to good presenters on the radio. I hope you found the course useful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at this email address, robert.o'connor@setu.ie. Beyond that, I wish you all the best, and I hope you have happy adventures in podcasting.